What is up, everybody, and welcome into GRO in Greenville. This is our 4th episode of this, and we have a very special guest waiting for you guys. If you guys haven't already kind of picked up what we were doing a little bit, our first episode we had an ECU guest, and we talked about all things ECU. Our second episode, we had a Greenville guest, and we talked about all things Greenville. Third episode, we talked about Pitt County things.
Wait, Nick, let me guess. We did all things Pitt County?
Oh, we did all things Pitt County. We did all things Pitt County. You scared me for a second. You're like, Nick, hold on, wait. Scared me. I thought something went wrong for a second, but no. And so then, for this episode today, if you haven't already guessed, if you listen to our radio show any at all, you kind of know what to expect a little bit here. You know our fourth and final guest. We're going to be talking about all ECU sports, and our final guest will be an ECU sports guest. But before you find out who that potentially is, because I'm going to assume you haven't read the caption, because it's going to be right there, the caption. But, in case you haven't read that, you'll find out here in just a little bit. But before then, let's go ahead and talk about some ECU sports, because it's a great time of the year for our ECU baseball Pirates right now as we're heading into the conference tournament. And as this is being recorded, we have just won Game 1 against Rice 12-4. But before we get into that, let's talk about a little bit more about our all-conference players. Ken, you got the list of those, right?
Yeah, I got them. So our first team, obviously, we won the American Athletic Conference.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep, no doubt about it. But our first team, Trey Savage, Wyatt Lunsford Shankman, the law firm, Justin Wilcoxon, Carter Cunningham, Jacob Jenkins-Cowart, and Riley Johnson. Represented very, very well.
I think that's a pretty accurate first-team list,
Yeah, all-conference second team. We only had two guys, but Danny Beal, Ryan McChrystal, both guys had great years. McChrystal, I think, if it wasn't for Wilcoxon, easily would have been a first-teamer.
Easily.
I think it's just because he plays primarily in the DH spot. Mm-hmm. If he had more catcher reps, I think he might have been able to get in the first team.
100%.
And then freshman team, we got Bristol Carter and Ethan Norby, who both easily deserved it. Norby had some quality innings for us, and Bristol had some quality outfield.
Including one today, actually,
exactly.
for Ethan Norby. But
Exactly.
we'll talk about that here in just a little bit.
Is there anybody, Nick, and there's definitely one guy who we both know, is there anybody who you think should have been on either of those three lists?
Hold on, can you run through that just a second?
Savage, Lunsford Shankman, Wilcoxon, Cunningham, Jacob Jenkins-Cowart, and Riley Johnson, and then Danny Beal and Ryan.
Where's Jacob Starling?
Exactly.
Where's Jacob Starling?
But you know who else I was going to say? It's the same thing as Starling, Zach Root.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely just the health stuff.
Yeah.
Both of them had some injury stuff. I think with Starling, though, he's more crazy because Root was injured more in American play. Yeah. Starling didn't miss much American play.
No.
Root missed a couple of teams where he would have got his votes from. He missed Rice. He missed Tulane. He missed someone else, if I'm not mistaken, in the American. So obviously, even if he had great starts outside of that, it's always the case of guys who have great seasons, but maybe conference play, the guy had a little injury, whatever it might be. And I think that's what happened to Root. And then Starling, though, like I said, he didn't miss much American play.
Yeah.
He missed early on in the season. It took him a little bit to get his footing, but he still had a great season.
Jacob Starling, he still is one of our – he's still batting in our cleanup spot right now. Even though after we got swept by Tulane, and we switched up the batting order, the fact that we still have him in the cleanup spot right there tells me a lot about how much confidence our coaching staff has in Jacob Starling to be in that role. You don't put just any hitter in that cleanup spot.
Exactly.
You got to have one of your stronger hitters there. And the fact that we kept Jacob Starling there, even after we got swept by Tulane, tells me a lot about how much confidence the coaching staff has in him. I think he at least deserves a spot on that list, if anything.
Oh, for sure.
I thought first team maybe, but the fact that he didn't even get second team, he wouldn't get rookie, but
Yeah.
But the fact that he didn't even get second team, that's kind of shocking.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then some of our
and then Zach Root, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but Zach Root, I completely understand what you're saying. I agree with you. I think it's just because he missed a lot of American play as to why we didn't see him on the list. I think if he could have stayed healthier, we would have seen Zach Root on that list, but because we didn't see him there, because we didn't see Zach Root play much in the American because of his health stuff, that's why we didn't see him.
If we had seen North Carolina game, Zach Root.
Oh, he 100%. There's no way. He was up for the Golden Spikes right up there along with Trey Savage for the longest time until he got hurt. So Zach Root is still a fantastic pitcher for us, and we are praying he can come back soon. Because golly, do we need him come regional time, come super regional time? We need him big time.
Sure. And then going on that, of course, we had Cliff Godwin, Coach of the Year. Riley Johnson, Defensive Player of the Year. Carter Cunningham was the American Player of the Year, and Trey Savage, Pitcher of the Year. no one that I think during middle of the season I would have definitely said Bristol Carter deserved the freshman of the year. I don't remember exactly who got freshman of the year, but seeing stats compared, I believe it was a pitcher. Seeing the stats compared, that guy definitely deserved it.
I think it's fair.
I believe he was the Friday night starter or Saturday night starter for whoever it was. I forget who it was though. But Bristol Carter still had a great season, and there's really no one else that I think probably deserved it, considering how much we would flip flop at times.
Yeah.
Joey Brini was starting every day, but Joey Brini is not an all conference guy.
No.
He's one of those guys that coaches see and they're like, dang, like they play him every single day. He gives great defense, but they're not going to think he's an all conference player.
Yeah.
Dixon Williams played a lot. Definitely had great moments for us through this whole season, but not enough to string together probably a second team selection. And then along with, I think if Bristol Carter wasn't on the team, I think guys maybe like a Cam Clonch or Luke Nowak might have been a consideration.
Honestly, I agree.
But with Bristol Carter being on the team, I think it was kind of hard. They wanted to see how Carter did, Nowak, Clonch, those type of guys. And honestly, speaking of Clonch, I think next year, watch out. I think next year, watch out.
I'm glad you said that because I completely agree. Cam Clonch is one of my favorite players to watch. What year's Cam Clonch?
Carter Cunningham, I know, is graduating. That's why I say that. I believe Cam Clonch is a junior.
Because for some reason I was thinking he might be a senior. That's why I was hesitant to say.
I really hope not, because I
hope not.
I say that and I contradict. He's a senior.
He is a senior.
Contradicting myself there.
We'll take away everything we just said there. But I thought that's what I was thinking. I thought Cam Clonch was a senior. But yeah, Cam Clonch though. I mean, he's still one of my favorite players. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing a Clonch launch. I mean, that just having a phrase Clonch launch is awesome. I mean, that in and of itself proves to me you're great. And he's stuck around for all these times.
2022 second team selection.
I mean, he has stuck around. I mean, Cam Clonch is exactly what you want out of a baseball player. I mean, it is.
And I guess does he have the COVID year technically? Because he's only been this is only his fourth year of college baseball.
Maybe.
Technically.
We'd have to look into that one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because I forget how how it all is working right now. But because RJ Davis for UNC basketball, he's going for his fifth year. So wouldn't that mean Cam Clonch could technically come back?
Cam Clonch, maybe.
Maybe Cam Clonch. Help us out. Maybe if you're watching, come on. We want you to start first base.
And if you are watching, let us know. We can maybe get you on. We'd love to talk to you.
Exactly. If you're watching, anybody who knows Cam Clonch, tell him we want him back.
Yes.
If he's available, obviously. But yeah, I don't think there's anybody else. But Root for sure. Danny Beal, I was glad to see him get on the second team.
Yeah.
And then I think that's pretty much it pitcher-wise. I think if we could have strung together some other guys who could have had better production, Danny Beal might not have been on it just because he pitched so much at times.
He did.
He would come in the second inning and pitch till the seventh. And so definitely guys like that. But yeah, Clonch is definitely someone who I hope to come back. I can't really think of anybody else though that maybe could have deserved the selection.
I can't think of anybody on the top of my head who I'm like, you know what, they deserve,
some consideration.
Because I think, you practically have our whole starting lineup there somewhere, which, you love to see that. I think it's well deserved.
Outside of Barini and Williams.
Yeah, outside of Barini and Dixon Williams.
And Starling.
And Jacob Starling.
And the reason why I forget Starling is because you would think he'd be on the team.
I said we thought Jacob Starling should be on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, But yeah, no, I agree. I can't think of anybody else on the top of my head who I'd be like, oh yeah. You said Zach Root already. Eric Ritchie was very inconsistent at times, so it's hard to mention.
Any of those guys had some good moments.
They had good moments.
Broler, Collar, Winter, DiLorenzo, guys they all had some moments, but they didn't have enough to string together consideration. And then obviously recording this on the day of we being Rice. More likely, American Tournament's going to be over by the time this is posted. But to give you guys some insight of what we think right now, what we think is going to happen, obviously...
We still want to talk about this, even though by the time you're watching this, you probably already know what happened, and everything we say might just be total baloney at this point.
And honestly, the thing is, we're going to be talking about some of the stuff we're about to talk about on our radio show, so you should tune in.
If you tune in on Thursday morning at 10 a.m., I promise you, that'll be the most up-to-date version.
Exactly.
And we'll be doing this every week all summer.
You know what I just thought about? I don't think I forget because you're not a movie guy, but this is a little different.
Okay.
An Elf, whenever the manager of the store, and Will Ferrell's in there, he's like, at 10 a.m.,
Santa's coming, Santa!
You said 10 a.m. and it made me think of that.
You know what? Listen, I might not be a movie person, Elf is a classic.
Okay, that's you would know that.
I watched Elf. Elf is a classic, but
Okay,
we're not talking about my love or hatred of
Yeah.
movies at this point. This is time to talk about some ECU baseball. However, I do hate movies, just as a heads up, But that's besides the point. Let's talk about some American Conference Tournament. ECU beat Rice today 12-4. All 12 runs coming in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Crazy.
Cannon, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Is all 12 runs coming in the 8th inning, is that more impressive to you or more concerning to you?
Concerning.
More
question.
concerning. Okay.
No question. Concerning. Like 12 runs only in the 8th inning. That's insane. I mean, obviously it's impressive. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it's more concerning than impressive because. Come on, we got to do some more stuff in the earlier parts of the innings. We can't be relying on only one inning to win us ball games. I mean, Rice, they're a very inferior opponent, only the 8 seed. Then there's 10 teams in the American. We're the 1 seed, and we didn't even pitch bad, only 4 runs. And I mean, that's pretty much what we let up against them. And I mean, I'm not mad about letting 4 runs against them. This is college baseball; anything can happen. And then I do expect though, whenever we play Wichita State. Yeah, Wichita State on Thursday.
I believe we play Wichita State next because Wichita State just beat UAB.
Yeah, so we would be playing them on Thursday.
But ECU and Rice was the last game we have watched. So anything that is after ECU Rice today, we have no idea anything that's happened there. To give you a heads up as to when we're recording this, it's in between the ECU Rice game and I don't remember. I think it's Charlotte and UTSA.
Yeah,
next.
they play in Florida Atlantic and Tulane also play.
So I think that's the next game. So it's in between those 2 games.
So I'm pretty sure we play Wichita State. I know they won today. I know they're on the side of the bracket. If I'm not mistaken, that's who we would play.
I believe so.
So playing Wichita State, it's going to be interesting. Who do you think we start that day? It'd be
on Thursday, it's going to be Trey Savage.
You think it'll be a Savage Thursday?
So they announced it.
They announced it?
They
Okay.
announced it'll be Trey Savage on Thursday.
I was going to see if, they'd be like, okay, who they think was going to start, and then if it was anybody different,
Oh,
if it was
yeah.
the same thing.
No, it'll be a Savage on Thursday.
Okay.
They've already announced that because he pitched on Thursday. It's been a week, so he would.
I was just wondering mainly if they wanted to save him or if they wanted to go in and pitch him now.
See, I was curious,
but
so I was curious about the same thing, but no, they've already said we're going to go use Savage.
And at this point, I don't know who we'd start because obviously we won't root back, and I want to win the American tournament, but at the same time.
You know who I'd like to see us start on the mound?
Who?
The unsung man, Mr. Colby Wallace.
Nick Green loves him some Colby Wallace.
I tell you what, Colby Wallace on the mound because we saw him in, I believe it was Game 3 against Rice earlier.
I believe so,
Because
we're winning by a decent amount.
Yeah, and then it was today we saw Colby Wallace finish the game off for the Pirates. I tell you what, this guy is a fantastic pitcher. I mean, he's played third base for the time of us whenever Jacob Starling was injured for that stretch of the season. But now, Colby Wallace, we got Jacob Starling back. We put Dixon Williams back at third. We didn't really have a necessarily spot for Colby Wallace, so guess what we decided to do? We moved him over to pitcher. We put him in the bullpen, and I tell you what, he's one of our better arms. I tell you what, I've watched both times he's pitched so far, and I genuinely have been impressed with what Colby Wallace has said. And no hate to Eric Ritchie here, but I like him more than I like Eric Ritchie on the mound. Like, I'm not trying to say I dislike Eric Ritchie or what. I actually think Eric Ritchie, when he's playing great, he's playing great. It's just when is he playing great? But Colby Wallace, he can pound that strike zone, and I've really liked what I've seen out of Colby Wallace so far. I believe he had 4 strikeouts in Game 3 last time. Don't quote me on that. That's off the top of my head. I'm not entirely sure if that was the exact number. But he had some strikeouts Game 3 against Rice, and then today he did not look bad at all. So truly, I'm on the Colby Wallace train. I'd love to see him. Man, I was kidding about the start. But truly, I'm so happy that we're getting to see him in the mound more, getting to see him in the bullpen more. I'm excited for what he's going to do the rest of this way because we will definitely continue to use him more with the way he's been playing.
For sure. People are going to be here confused while I was looking at my phone because I wanted to talk about something we were talking about earlier with a guy who also excited to see next year, freshman Walker Barron. But
yes.
because if I'm not mistaken, the reason why I looked, I couldn't remember if he could play first base. Mm-hmm. He's labeled as a catcher. But Wilcoxon's graduating. McChrystal's a junior. Do you keep McChrystal in the DH spot and let Walker Barron catch?
No, I put McChrystal to catch.
I bet so. You never know. You never know. But I'm wondering next. I can't remember if I've read it or not. If Walker Barron can play first base.
Okay.
Because Conch leaves, and then Cunningham will be gone. Put Walker Barron to first base. You never know. I'm excited to see him in the limited action we've seen him play. I liked him a lot.
I did too.
Which we haven't seen him in a while.
We have not. Well, he hit a little bit for us today. I don't remember what he did, but I know I saw him up to the plate today. But Walker Barron's still one of those guys who, I mean, you just like to see him. Everything I've seen from him, I'm like, this guy can develop into a really solid baseball player for us. And I think over the years, by the time he's a senior, he's going to be a really solid player for us.
And honestly, in my opinion, I think if we didn't have Wilcoxon or we didn't have McChrystal, whoever it might be, I think Walker Barron could easily have been in one of those two spots, even as a freshman. I truly believe that. I like him a lot. I like seeing him play, and I think he would have easily been on the all freshman team, easily. I think he might not have hit the best average, but I think he could have hit some good RBIs, put some balls in play for us.
Yeah.
I'm not mad we didn't see him because Wilcox and McChrystal, that's nasty.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But I'm very excited to see Walker Barron progress as a player. But obviously there'll be guys that we are missing who are on the bench right now, but they're going to be in a couple of years studs for us. Like guys, what do you think? Like Dixon Williams, he's going to be a stud. He's going by his senior year, he's going to be one of the top 2, top 3 best players.
Bristol Carter will be up there.
Exactly.
He's going to be really good for us in the coming years. So truly, I mean, what you see currently from the ECU Pirates baseball team is exactly what you want to see. You've got some really talented seniors who are there leading the team, but you also have some very good freshmen with a lot of potential who can really grow into be a really good baseball player. So I truly think you've got exactly the perfect mix of the two right now. And you've got people, and obviously you've got a bunch of players in between too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just seniors and freshmen.
We
got some
Williams,
guys in between.
junior, sophomore.
But at the same time, when you've got a good mix of good, like strong seniors who can lead the team, and then high potential freshmen, that's really going to make for a good team further down the road, not just this year, but in the coming years too. So that makes me very excited about that. Cannon, I do want to ask you a little bit because by the time I don't want to preview too much of the American tournament because by the time this comes out, the people watching this already kind of our predictions don't really mean much anymore because they already know. But what I do want to say is we're going to play Wichita State next, I believe. Is there a team in this American tournament that you're just like, I really kind of don't want to see them right now?
I think it's an easy answer.
Tulane. Yeah, okay.
We got
I was curious if you're going to go Tulane or if you're going to go another route there.
Because I think the other route would be UTSA. UTSA doesn't scare me as much. We 2-1 them, I believe, in the series when we played them earlier this year at UTSA.
No. UTSA, we lost to that series.
Okay, we won 2. But they still don't. That doesn't frighten me nearly as much. I know it's only a game difference. But it doesn't. The games that I wasn't as concerned about.
Yeah.
It was early on in the season. Tulane just happened.
Yeah.
But obviously, and I was gonna say the same thing for today. It's hard to beat a team 4 times.
It is.
And I mean, Bryce at first today was gonna be like, it's hard to beat a team 4 times. Obviously, 8th inning came around.
We decided we knew how to play baseball.
Yeah. But it's hard to beat a team 4 times. I will say that. And I'm a little. I'm not scared, but I'm just kind of like, I don't want to play them again.
Yeah.
I don't want a 4th loss by them on our record. But no one I'm entirely oh crap, we're gonna lose. There's no one like that because this is our conference. It's ours.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no one I'm really too scared about. But this is the conference tournament. I mean, I know it's double elimination, but it's pretty much one game. And it's a one game can decide a lot of things.
Yeah.
You can win the championship with a loss, but I don't want that happening.
So you can win the championship with 1 loss, but with the way our bullpen looks right now, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah.
Because that means we'd have to play
more
the
games.
winner's bracket.
Yeah.
We'd have to play another game, and that's going to be even tougher on our bullpen.
Yeah, if we were to lose Wichita State or anything like that, we'd have to play Friday.
Yeah,
so.
And it's not exactly what we want to see. So I agree with you. I think Tulane's the one team I also do not want to see right now, with UTSA being an honorable mention there.
I think before we end it, there's one thing we should, because around this time, when it does come out, and it will be around this time, regionals.
Okay.
What do you think are the outcomes were to happen? Let's say we win against Wichita State, and then we lose the 2 games.
Do you think so we beat Wichita State and then we lose
lose the next 2.
Okay.
What seed do you think we're at?
To be completely honest with you, I don't think we host.
Yeah, I honestly I agree with you. I think we're probably with the 16 or 15 seed.
I was going to say,
we're the 2.
I think,
the 2 seed
we're the 2, or we're going to be either 17 or 18, so we'll be in that range.
Now, if we beat Wichita State, and I think if we win the championship, we're no question hosting, obviously.
I think we'll host the regional.
Yeah. I think if we win the championship, we are anywhere from 7 to 10.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things can happen with other conferences, other teams.
Well, I think just
we're
naturally, I mean, because of how strong the SEC and the ACC are, naturally there's going to be some teams who are kind of in that range who are going to lose pretty early on. I mean, most of the top 5 in the is considered SEC schools right now. So naturally you're going to see some of these schools lose pretty early on just because of the way the tournament's set up. So it's going to come to a point, do you put an American champion who's, we're a group of 5, but we're an American champion, or do you put in a team who lost pretty early on in the SEC tournament? Granted, it's the SEC, but that's going to be a question there.
What honestly I think we should hope for are bid stealers. Or not necessarily bid stealers as most, but more teams that are the 3 seed type area, and then win the SEC, ACC, Big 12, all those types of schools.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I think we need to hope for. Bid stealers, obviously, but with those schools, it's a lot harder, especially in baseball, to make that type of run. But we could see teams that are the low 2, high 3. They can win their tournament championship and help us out and move us up a spot or 2.
100%.
So I think I will say
South Carolina for the SEC, baby.
Exactly, yes, South Carolina, baby. And I think, like I said, win the championship. I think we're anywhere from the 7 to 10 range.
Yeah.
If we lose in the championship, I think we're anywhere from the 10 to 12, 10, 13 range.
Yeah.
If we only, I mean that's pretty much all the obvious. I think that's all the outcomes that could happen after today.
And if we don't make the championship, I don't think.
We don't host. I don't think so.
We do not host. Simple as that.
Yeah, and I mean that's pretty much. That's pretty much as simple as that, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannon, do you think there's any outcome where we somehow manage to get a top 8 seed?
No, I think there is. Like I said, I think if we win the championship, I'm not saying we're guaranteed a top 8 seed if we win the championship.
We need a lot of help.
But what I am saying is, those teams that we were just talking about, South Carolina, help us out a lot. Teams like that could potentially take a seed away from someone. I think we could easily get a top 8. Now, I don't think we go any higher than 7.
No, definitely not.
I don't think we go any higher than 7, but a 7 I would love to be in, because that 8...
And honestly, I'd be okay with a 9.
Yeah.
Because a 9, more than the odds of all top 8 advancing to the Super Regional is kind of tough. It doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay with a 9 seed, and then we got to win our regional, obviously. And then we just got to play the 8 seed regional.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, that's not horrible.
Because that's a team that's barely ahead of us.
That's barely ahead of us.
That's why I was going to say I don't want to be in the 8. If possible. I would rather be 7 or 9. I don't want to be in the 8. And I think you're exactly right. We're more likely, I think, if we're the 9. I think, honestly, we could be more likely to host if we're the 9 than we are the 8.
I agree.
And that's the main reason why I say that. I don't know why I think that, but I really do believe we have a better chance.
Yeah.
Overall. Sure. Let's just hope Omaha, baby. That's all we're hoping for now.
That's what we're praying for. Honestly, I don't care if we host or not. I would love to host. I'd love to be in that game.
That's exactly why we're saying that.
At the same time, let's just get to Omaha.
Yeah.
If we don't host and we make it to Omaha, you will not hear a single complaint out of either one of us.
Exactly.
I promise you that. Can we have any final thoughts on this?
Just basically that, we're college students. Yeah. Obviously, we just want to see them win, so that's why we say we can host. I don't care, honestly. I want us to host just to be there, like Nick said.
Yeah.
Just get us to Omaha. That's all I really care about.
Yep.
But that's pretty much all I got to say, Nick.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this. Oh wait, before we go, we're not leaving yet. I don't know what I'm thinking. We're not leaving yet. We still got another half of this show that we just haven't recorded yet. So, before we let you guys go, we have a very special guest we want to introduce to you. Please welcome ECU wide receiver, transfer from West Virginia University, Mr. Winston Wright, who is going to help our wide receiver room graciously, and you will get the chance to meet him right now. What is up, everybody, and welcome to GRO in Greenville, our 4th episode of this, where you've already seen our Greenville guest, you've seen our Pitt County guest, you've seen our ECU guest, but what you have not seen yet is our one and only ECU sports guest. This week, or this episode, we have our very own wide receiver transfer from West Virginia University, Mr. Winston Wright. Winston, how you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Good. Glad to. So, what made you choose ECU of all schools you could have gone to? What made you pick Greenville, North Carolina, out of everything you could have gone to?
I would say I was kind of looking at this as a business decision for the next year of my life. So, wanted to kind of come somewhere where I envision myself having a great season, the coaching staff checked all my boxes. Came up here with my dad, loved it, and yeah, man,
Awesome.
It was a no-brainer.
Awesome.
And you say that about like the coach staff, and you say everything like how much they were just checked every single box. What can we expect from this offense as a whole in general?
Right. First off, we're going to be fast. It's going to be a fast offense, but all in all, just an explosive offense, and we're going to give people a show. They're going to come see, a good offense. We're going to play hard, play physical, and then we're just going to do our assignments. So.
Perfect. I mean, I know that's what Greenville guests and people in the stadium are going to love to watch and see in general. So, yeah.
Absolutely. What's it like working with John David Baker as your offensive coordinator?
Right. So Coach Baker, great guy, great coach. He's an offensive mind, so he's going to put us in the best positions to succeed. So, just having a coach like that, you can be able to trust. You just got to do your job. He's going to make everything happen. So I'm excited to play for him. Has been a good spring plan, just playing under him. So I can't wait to the season so y'all can see it.
So, like, what have you learned since you're in your fifth or sixth season of college football? Fifth season of college football in West Virginia, Florida State. What have you learned from those previous stops that you're bringing here, and what has also been, some troubles along the way, I guess?
Right. I would say, so I'm a older player. I learned just to be patient. If you work, good things are going to happen on the football aspect. Also learn, you're going to go through adversity. You just got to put your head down and keep pushing through. And then I just learned just to reach a team goal, everybody has to be in. It can't be no I or about me or, everybody has to be in and just have fun. Most football players been playing football since they were little. So, you're in college now, so, it might be a little bigger, but just have fun. Everything else going to take care of itself.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's all we want to hear, especially.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. What can you tell us about this wide receiver room, and what do you specifically bring to this wide receiver room?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the receiver room, I feel like this is probably one of the better rooms I've been a part of. You got a lot of people that can do a lot of things, bring a lot of explosiveness, speed, people that can catch the ball and go 80 yards, people can jump over people. So we got a good variety of players. Me, myself, I'm a speedster, so it's gonna be a.
We ever gonna see you jump over somebody? We're gonna see that this year.
hopefully I can do that. But
I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
That'd be
would
awesome.
as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Speaking of like the wide receiver room as well in that offense, how's it been working with all the great talent quarterbacks we have on the team? Jay Garcia, Caden Hauser, Bryson Harrison just came in pretty recently, if I'm not mistaken. Cole Hodge, Raheem Jeter. How's it been working with all those talented quarterbacks?
Right. So the Bryce, we haven't got to work with him yet. I think he gets here sometime this week, but as you mentioned, Caden and Jake, both two great quarterbacks. Probably one of the more solid quarterbacks I played with in my collegiate career. So I'm excited to play with both of those guys. Both of those guys are good. Both of them are smart. Both of them are leaders. So I can't wait to see whoever wins the job. I can't wait to play with them.
I mean, we saw that in the spring game as well, because both of them had
Yeah.
great moments, and you see where showing themselves as leaders. And I mean, you would think in a spring game we were probably going to see one guy kind of give himself an edge, but it's still pretty much right there. And I mean, it's exciting to see, considering we've had some troubles, in the recent past. But we're glad to see that with the quarterback. Right?
Absolutely. Can you give us any insight as to who the starting quarterback's going to be, or do you have no idea? Like, is it still very up in the air?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
We just came back from spring practice, had our first OTA yesterday. They were splitting reps with both of the starters, so I'm excited to just be I see them bring it every day. Not one person comes in and is down. Both of them come in with good energy, good leadership, and that's what you want to kind of see from your quarterback. A quarterback is the leader of the team, leader of the offense, so two alpha males, and best man win.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I mean, we love to see that. So you said, like we talked about earlier, like what you expect to see from yourself. What are some goals you have for yourself, but also for the team as well?
I kind of stopped writing goals a long time ago because I would say if you write goals down and they might, not saying you might not achieve them, but say if they're not, you're not getting there, you kind of only focusing on them goals instead of the team goals. So like I would say my goal is, man, just to have fun, come in each and every day with a smile on my face and just get 1% better. Focus on the little things each and every day and try to perfect as the days go along. But for myself, man, I just want to have fun and put the team first. And as team goes, we all on one common goal. We want the AAC championship. So with that being said, you got to come to work every day. It's not gonna be given to you. We know that. The new people know that. I feel like the new people have came in and accepted the standard and working every day. So all we could do is work and you can't cheat the process. So just enjoy the process, and on Saturdays, just come to play every Saturday.
No, we love to hear that, especially from an inside source on everything.
Yeah.
You see everything that's going on. We love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we hear things that happen all the time, but we don't get to like see from inside like what's actually happening. So it's good to hear that coming from actually inside with a building. We talked a little bit about John David Baker. What's it like working with Coach Houston specifically? Do you think how do you like working with him?
Oh yeah, me and Coach Houston, we have a great relationship. I look at him as he's someone like my dad.
Okay.
I'm kind of close with my dad, so Coach Houston, very knowledgeable. He's been doing this for a long time and coaching at a high level, not in just this conference, but other conferences. Great defensive coach. He's kind of a defensive coach, so he don't really kind of have any input on the offense, but he's all in and like you like coaches like that that you can talk to and have a relationship outside of football, because that just makes you want to play even harder for him on the field. So Coach Houston, good leader for us. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we're happy to hear from Coach Houston. How do you especially on the offensive side, how have you seen the defense improve in the spring practices, spring games? And I mean, obviously your second day of OTAs is just today,
right.
But how have you seen the defense improve and just be solid as a whole?
Yeah, right, no doubt. When I came here, did my research. The defense that we have, I think they were top in the league last year. So it was great to see that. I got a chance to see it for myself going against them every day in practice. Our defense fly around to the ball, they're physical, fast. So if, the offense, which I think we're going to, not 10 times out of 10, I know we're going to have, I think we're going to be the, best in the league with the defense that we have already. So
yeah,
it's just about putting the pieces together now and
sure.
just continuing to work together.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
that's great.
For sure. So talking a little bit about the defense here, I know whenever as a wide receiver, you're gonna have to go 1v1 against some of the corners on this team. Do you have a favorite corner that you like to go against? Is there like one guy that you're like, I love going against this guy? He's just gonna play physical every single time, and it brings your best out of you.
I would say so. I play in the slot, so
okay.
I don't really get to see the outside corners go against me, but when I do see him, like Shaban, he was hurt, this spring, but he's back healthy now. But a corner that I like seeing go against like one of our better receivers was IBM. He was competing good, but for my, I play the slot, so I kind of go against the safeties and nickels. It's a lot of good safeties that we have. I can name 3 off the top of my head. I can name Devin King as one of them, Jordan Huff, and Nash.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those 3, gave me great looks this spring. So
No, that's what we love to hear because, I mean, obviously we want the defense to be solid as a whole, but we can tell whenever, I mean, like you said, top defense mark last year in the league, guys like that, making you be your best and making our offense be the best as a whole.
Right.
Yeah. I think going on that, we just have one more question. Nick, you go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the fans at home who are watching this, to the people of Greenville, North Carolina, do you have a message to the people of Greenville, North Carolina as a whole about this season or about anything, really?
Oh, yeah. I just want to say, just continue the support, and we're gonna turn a lot of heads this season, and we're gonna make ECU proud. And
College football playoff?
I can't wait. I'm not gonna go ahead of myself, but
understandable.
We're gonna take it 1 week at a time, and hopefully we're playing for the conference championship, which is a goal of ours. But yeah, we're gonna need y'all every Saturday, so I'm looking forward to it.
Don't worry. I think me and Cannon will both be there.
Oh, we will be there in attendance.
I think most of the people here will hopefully be in attendance today.
No.
Well, Winston, thank you so much for joining us today on this. I cannot speak right now. Thank you so much for joining us today on this podcast. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's. I keep saying this week's. This is not a weekly thing, but thank you for tuning into this month's episode of GRO in Greenville. If you want to catch me and Cannon's radio show, we are live this summer every Thursday at 10 a.m. You heard that right, 10 a.m. It's early for us too, don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we'll be live on Grounded in Greenville every Thursday at 10 a.m. if you want to catch us there. But until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. Go Pirates!